1. Hey everybody, it's Scott Jansen here. Welcome back to another 100K coaching program student interview. We're here with the amazing Keld Peterson today. Keld has a fantastic story. We're actually just talking off camera before. I hope he shares all the cool stuff that he just shared with me. But Keld's been in my 100K coaching program for only a couple of months now, and massive things have happened. Okay, so I invited Keld along. I know he's super busy. He's got an incredible story, which I know he's looking forward to sharing, and I'm looking forward to hearing it again as well. So Keld, firstly, thank you so much for joining us with your busy schedule.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Well, look, let's start from the start, like we always do. Let's go back to before therapy and hypnotherapy. What were you doing in your life before you discovered hypnotherapy? Did you have another job? What was happening in your life?
Well, long story short, I've always been working with people. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of work that had to do with my voice. Mm-hmm. I've done radio work.
Okay.
I was head of programming at a local radio station here in Denmark mm-hmm. for a couple of years. I've been singing in heavy metal bands and I've been doing a lot of stuff with my voice. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the time I've been working with people in various, at City Hall, at the local job center where I would work with people with long-term illnesses. Mm-hmm. My last, I was going to say real job. This is a real job, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Was at a call center for a television supplier, which was amazing. It was one of those places where you actually have time to talk to your clients mm-hmm. or your customers. But the way I got into hypnosis was basically I was struggling with my marriage and things were difficult. And as I'm sure many people, they try to find some help. Mm-hmm. And me being me, I decided, well, the cheapest way to get tons of therapy is to learn self-hypnosis. Mm-hmm. So I took a one-day class and it blew me away completely. In the meantime, I'm switching a little in the timeline here, mm-hmm. but in the meantime, I got a divorce and I found a new girlfriend and I had to work on these things with what I thought
right.
self-hypnosis. Mm-hmm. I came home to her and said, this, I need to learn, give me. So, being as it is, usually a one-day class for something is because they want to sell a bigger course.
Yeah.
And I jumped into that one and I never looked back. I just saw today a little bit of a video course online, and the guy there said, be aware, this is a warning. Once you start smelling hypnosis, mm-hmm. anything you do the rest of your life mm-hmm. will contain hypnosis in one way or the other. And I'm completely agreeing with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that is where I am now. I can't do anything that is not hypnosis in one way, or find a way, or
so it becomes a part of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took the course, I got certified, mm-hmm. and then I wanted to learn more stuff, again, feed my brain with all this hypnosis stuff. And I came across this wonderful guy called Scott Jansen.
Interesting.
And yes, and you may have heard of him somewhere.
I have, yes, in small ways, yes.
And I have been completely leeching anything I could find of free YouTube videos and mm-hmm. downloads and demos and stuff back then. And I don't want to sound too much of a fanboy, but you have really changed the way I think of hypnosis. Mm-hmm. And you have been such a big part of the way I work today. Mm-hmm. It's, you made me see how easy it is.
Yeah, it should really
be. My first course, they weren't, making things difficult. It was pretty straightforward, but mm-hmm. seeing the way that you worked, mm-hmm. Just opened my eyes for, oh my God, is it this easy? Can it really be this easy? And yes, it can.
So
And
was the course that you did, sorry to interrupt, was the course you did more like the classical script type hypnosis with techniques and stuff like that? Okay, that makes sense.
It would be, it was over some weekends where you would go the full weekend, and you would first learn basic inductions, learn 3 or 4 inductions, and you would get, after the first time, we were sent home and told, hypnotize 10 people, just, relaxation.
Okay. Yeah.
Come back. And so you're experienced. Then we would learn weight loss, quit smoking,
right,
a few more things. And we were told, go home, find 10 more, get paid.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good that they told you guys to get paid straight away.
I really loved that.
Yeah,
because,
that's good to hear.
And I'm doing, a little here and there. I'm doing some coaching for other hypnotherapists because they ask me, how are you doing what you're doing? And, I feel like I'm constantly saying, crank up your price. Don't go for, free guinea pigs, get paid.
Yeah, get paid.
Yes, why not? You're helping them. It makes a difference, and it makes the hypnosis better.
Yeah, of course it does. There's good pressure on that for you and them. Yes. Yeah.
So we did that, and then next time it was like more therapy, anxiety, depression, and building it up. And it was really nice. We had a whole weekend where we talked about the business side, and I was probably too busy hypnotizing to really pay attention to the business, because I just wanted to hypnotize.
You want to do the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm still like that, like we were just talking about, I'm terrible at actually following your course, because I think it's the best course that I have ever encountered when I'm doing my sneak peeks in there and stuff, but I'm lazy, and I see that, and we'll get back to how, but I see that clients are just coming now, which is amazing, but it also keeps me lazy. So, but that was my beginning. I started to, and you find your way when you start working more, then you find your way to your own methods, and you steal a little here and steal a little there and invent something, and suddenly it's like your own whole thing.
Sure. Ericksonian take on it. That's what he always talked about, to create your own therapy for every new client that comes through the door.
Yeah. Realizations of have fun, once you realize, I'm having a blast with this, that if you have a client, everything you claim to be an induction is an induction. So make shit up.
Yeah.
Do something that entertains you. They don't know what's right or wrong.
That's right.
And I practice this a lot. Have fun with it always. I'm developing my things to the point where I'm about to set up a hypnotherapy course.
Beautiful.
I want to do my own thing, but with the schooling that I think is, the simple, easy way to do this. You don't need to do a billion things. And I want to do that. Sooner or later, that's going to happen.
So when did you get certified? When did you actually start? So you did let's recap quickly. So you did the self-hypnosis thing, and then you decided, you know what, this is what I want for my life. When did you go get certified? How long ago was it?
Not that long ago. I think that was in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
I think it was about there. Does that kind of adds up with your part of the doing?
That was when I was just coming about a year after I come off the back end of teaching into the course we have now. So when you got certified, they told you obviously very confident in what you were doing, got a lot of practice. Clients, you started getting clients, right? You started talking to them, working with them. Were you charging at the time? Obviously you were. And what type of clients were coming to see you? What were you helping them with?
I've always charged, always. What I was branding myself on when I started would be chronic pain.
Okay.
And I made some bad mistakes there, and maybe I should address them for some of those.
Yeah, please do.
Watching to not do this. I was very confident because I saw really, really good results by far the most of the time. I didn't get a lot of clients. So even if I was expensive, I was flat broke. And one of the ways for me to sell, being very expensive, I would use Facebook ads, which means people had no reference to who I was.
Yeah.
So I would tell them 1 year guarantee on my work.
Oof. Yeah. Okay.
And you see where this is going.
Yeah.
And,
I made that mistake once. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what happened was that many people just aren't, especially in chronic pain work, are just not ready for change. And at the same time, I needed to pay my bills. So those asking for a refund, at some point, I just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
So I ended up in financial trouble because of that.
Right.
That is no fun. Do not, hands off. I will never do that again. If people ask me, do you promise it works? And my answer is, I promise I will do everything I can for this to work for you. And
it's the only thing we can promise. Yeah, it's the only thing we should promise.
Yes. And, I feel terrible for the ones that, I feel that I failed because I want to save everyone. I'm that one of those guys, like any other therapist out there, we just want to hug the world and just do massive change for anyone, So I still feel bad about that. And I can tell I still have some kind of trauma on, I need to get things to work, Fortunately, I have new techniques now, and now it works every time. I have a success rate of 2020 that is 98% satisfaction.
Wonderful.
So I'm very happy. And not satisfied basically means we didn't reach the end goal. No unhappy clients,
Yeah. So when did you start taking the business side more seriously? How did all that come about?
What makes you think I did that?
Well, you joined the course obviously because there were some thoughts of the business. So how did all that come about?
I realized, of course, that I could tell that I could just barely make it financially. Really, there was a long time, I couldn't pay rent on time. Every client was essential for my economy.
Right.
And that is hell.
That's not a business. No.
No, it's absolutely terrible. So, obviously I thought, well, I know my stuff. What I need to do is do the business. And I've done, I've bought, like so many others, numerous courses, classes, done webinars, done self-hypnosis, and done all these things to get me going. I'm still not very good at getting going. However, when I saw that you were doing a course, I was interested because I see how I know you from before as real quality work. And that, you already had my stamp of approval, because at that point, 50% of what I'm doing is inspired by you. So, it was kind of a no-brainer that I need to look into that. And I saw some of your videos and I kind of liked that it's like a no-bull approach. Yes. And I like that, it's, I tend to overthink business. Absolutely. The moment that I start thinking about it, I get tired.
Right.
It's really, really difficult for me. And, it's still difficult because I can tell, I get into week one and I'm kind of thinking, oh my God, my niche, is that right? Yes, it is. I know it's right. But I keep doubting. Then, find people to interview for it. How are you where am I gonna find them? And what about, the whole message on my Facebook? How do I create that? And what do people say? And what words am I gonna be looking out for? in the real world. And you know, it's silly because I forget this, but I know this. Actually, when I started this the first time, I'm rebooting it now with a sweet lady from the group. So we're going to hold hands on this, keep us accountable. But I think as far as I remember, I got 5-6 interviews like right off the bat.
Yeah, I remember.
And I closed sales on those 3 of them. And this was within the first, I remember, 26 hours of actually signing up for the course.
I've still got that post. Yeah.
And you know, I was blown away. I'm like, what the hell? What happened? You know? And it was just wild. But then, you know, at that point, you know, to my defense, you know, I was I'm a diabetic, and my medicine was all wrong, so I got exhausted by nothing.
Right.
And trying to work this out and think, and it was torture. So I just kind of had to put it aside and just say, well, let's see what happens. But then it seems like, you know, I did, you know, pick up things from the group and from your lives, and just like before, you know, I pay attention. And some of the stuff that happened was that, you know, I started doing the referrals thing, you know, just testimonials. And if you look at my Facebook page, what you will see there is that whenever I do an online session, if I can get the permission, I will do a screenshot of the 2 of us. Yes. And just say, thank you to Scott for showing up at my online clinic, you know, and I will post that, of course, with permission, to basically say, look, I'm doing it. I'm alive. You know, we're open. Come see me, and get all that into people's feeds. And then people started apparently finding my webpage, which is an old one.com one that I built. It's not very pretty, but people find it. Apparently they like it. So every now and then I get an email through there. Someone saying, can you help me with this? And of course I can. And, you know, maybe it's time to talk about the niche.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. Which niche did you land on? I think everybody watching this is going to be quite surprised about. Talk about actually what it was, why you gave up on that one, and where it is now.
Well, the one that I had was chronic pain, you know, and that didn't work. And then I was doing a little bit of quit smoking, and I hated that. Absolutely hated it. Yeah. You know, I feel like, you know, it's just, you know, people are, you know, I'm sorry, people are whiny. You know, and
smokers do. I know that for a fact.
You know, and it's just, yes, you've done a ton of quit smoking, and it's just, it's not for me. I think, you know, I had poor results also because I didn't take people serious. Yeah. That, you know, I'm a non-smoker, and I really have a hard time, you know, relating to smokers. However, I was talking to my girlfriend about it. Told her, you know, I'm good at this stuff, but I'm not having fun. You know, I'm 50 at this point, and I'm like, I need to have fun. Sure. You know, I've spent my whole life working hard, not having fun. I'm gonna have fun. You know, so, and this is where, you know, it gets a little personal. You know, my ex-girlfriend and I, you know, we are a part of the Danish BDSM societies and swingers societies and stuff like that. I'm a very sexual person. And I made a discovery with her, a wonderful way to use hypnosis. Maybe there's too much information. I don't care.
No, I like it.
But we were in bed and having sex, and she had an orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
And just spontaneously, I decided to say, just keep coming. And she did.
Mm-hmm.
To the point, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, that's new.
Yeah.
And she grabs my arm and she says, you need to stop me.
Yeah.
And that just blew my mind. And
Yeah.
I stopped her, and then I realized, like, holy crap, when you are having sex,
mm-hmm.
you have focus on one thing. You're trancing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
This is the easiest time to hypnotize anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind started spinning, saying, okay, so what else can we do?
You're thinking business when you should be thinking other things. Got it. Yeah.
Well, actually, I was being the old perv, thinking, what else can we do?
Yeah. How far can we take this? Yeah.
You want to tie her up in the bed, you just tell her she's stuck,
mm-hmm.
And it works.
Mm-hmm.
And all these things just, who knew that, when you receive pleasure, if you have an orgasm,
mm-hmm.
if we think of an orgasm at 100%,
mm-hmm.
what happens when you say double that?
Mm.
You go to 200%, 400%, 800 until you go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to talk to swingers resorts, swingers clubs, BDSM clubs,
mm-hmm.
and offered to go out and do shows.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, hypnotic entertainment shows, as they always are, but with lots and lots of orgasms and little naughty skits, not like real sex,
mm-hmm.
Still some dignity in it.
Yeah.
But, really raunchy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And very quickly there, clients started coming to me and say, I have problems with my erection or ejaculation, or
mm-hmm.
the girls have trouble obtaining orgasms,
mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And I realized that's a good one. Nobody really talks about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
People are afraid of touching it,
Yeah. But you see, there's people that have been waiting for somebody to talk to about it too. And I'm going to pause you here, and I want to continue on this story, but I want to point this out for people watching. Even in our program and everybody I speak to, this is the difference between two ways you can look at your hypnosis business. You can go the classical route, which is I help people lose weight. I help people quit smoking. I help people with anxiety, but it's oversaturated, overmarketed, red ocean stuff all the way. This is what I tell all the students. You guys are getting a bit of a sneak peek here. You have to find something so unique that is blue ocean that nobody else is willing to talk about, has talked about, or is talking about as far as the niche. And this is exactly what Keld's done. Mm-hmm. So when you're listening to Keld's story, and I do want to continue, this is what I mean about finding something so unique and stop going the traditional route with your therapy, because that's the way Keld was before and it wasn't working. This is what I mean by unique, but a unique niche. But continue on. I definitely want to hear the rest of this story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically that became my niche very quickly. Mm-hmm. I was already, on Facebook. It's something that people don't talk about. People don't know. There's a lot of little naughty groups there.
Yeah.
A lot of kinky stuff, fetish stuff, all this, but it's all hidden. Mm. And they get shut down constantly, and new ones will pop up. You need to be on your toes to be in these groups.
It shows you there's a need for it.
Yes, there's a huge need and a huge want.
Yes.
And what I'm doing basically is, I'm adding friends. I don't have that many. I haven't had that much focus on it yet. Mm-hmm. I'm adding friends from in there whenever I have a good dialogue, just asking, do you mind if I add you? No, sure. And it's very typical that suddenly, I wake up in the morning and there's a message from someone from one of the groups. They always send it like at 2-3 a.m. after a bad sexual experience.
Yeah, I gotcha.
When she's gone home and he's sitting there and he's frustrated, I've had enough. Can you help me? I I see the message in the morning. I'll tell them, sure, can I call you? I don't do Calendly or any of that. I just call people, just good old school stuff. And these people are so ready to purchase. I tell them what my plan is with them, and they will ask, how much does it cost? Learning from my pain days, I do exactly what you're recommending now. I'm selling the result.
Excellent.
So I don't count sessions, but it's going to cost you, that's something like 1,200 Australian dollars I charge. That price keeps going up, by the way.
Isn't that good compared to where you were? Yeah.
Yes. It's much higher today. And I see that people don't even blink at the price, so it has to go up. It's just, this is an issue that is so important for these people.
Yeah.
They're willing to do anything, and after we're done, they will tell me, had I known the effect of what you did beforehand, I would have paid 10 times that, but you can't sell it at that price.
Still has to be reasonable. Yeah.
First. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's a little tricky because you can't advertise. You can't do anything with a sexual niche. You can't talk too loud.
You definitely can't run Facebook ads or funnels for that stuff. Definitely not.
Nothing. So what you need to do is be in there, be active, be helpful,
be a part of the market.
Yes. Be in the community. And I try to not sell in there because you get kicked out. But I will say stuff like, well, in my experience as a hypnotherapist, this is how I think things work. Sometimes there will be like, there was one that was, there was a bondage question, and someone was complaining about their ropes, that they would always get all tangled up, and how do you do that? And I write in there and I say, well, I just use hypnotic rope. Oh, really? What's that? Well, so I tell them I just make the person imagine ropes, and that works just fine, and I don't have to untangle them. And that led to, I have an erotic hypnosis online course, so where you can actually learn to do hypnosis as a sex toy. And that leads to them writing to me. It's like, how do you do that? Well, wouldn't you know I have a course? Why don't I sign you up on that? And so little things here, little things there have built me as the erotic hypnotist. And I brand myself as an erotic hypnotist. People ask me, what is your profession? I will say, I'm an erotic hypnotist. And it creates the curiosity. Like I was telling you before, people at a party or something, if they ask, and I will tell them, they kind of like, okay, that's weird. And they kind of step away. This happens so many times. And then after a little while, they'll come back. It's like, so tell me more.
Tell me more.
What is it you do? Because it's interesting. But they have to kind of get over the taboo of it first.
This is you're explaining exactly what the blue ocean is. Even coming back to your systems, we can still systemize a way for you to grow your business in a very taboo niche. There's a process for that. But what I want to point out is your systems are so simple because there's no competition. You talk to somebody who's in pain where there's no expert that can help them, and now you're the only expert. But when you're in very saturated red niches, you need funnels, you need ads, you need this, you need Calendly, you need this, because the system is so broad and so many moving parts because you're trying to outdo the next competition. But you're in such a blue ocean where probably most therapists do not even want to swim. You have the entire place to yourself.
It's nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody, everyone feels that, you know, it's a fine line to talk about sex and hypnosis in the same sentence. You know, it's just something that everyone feels is dangerous. But with me, you know, if it's therapy, it's therapy. It's dead serious. I don't fool around with that. You know, never, ever. People need to feel safe. But if it's just tomfoolery, just doing fun stuff, if I'm at a club and, you know, people want to see demos of erotic hypnosis as the toy, well, I will blow their minds doing that, you know. And, you know, I always make it safe. There's rules in a swingers club. The rules in Denmark is, you know, if you have a door open, everyone can come in.
Right.
If you have a chain across the door, you can watch. If you have the closed door, do not open it.
Right.
I want to feel safe, and I want my people that I play with to feel safe. So it's always open door with the chain on.
Sure.
I don't want to get interrupted, but I always want to make sure that people can see what we're doing, because then there's no discussions about, you know, crossing lines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, it's awesome to have 5 guys standing in the door looking. And I have a girl who is, you know, just there in her sexy underwear or whatever. She is hypnotically tied to the bed, and she's like struggling with all the orgasms. And I can look at the guys and say, by the way, I have a course for you where you can learn this. I've done this.
Sell it,
you know, yes, I'll just sell it, you know, and they'll be like, I need to learn. You know, I go home and I've made $1,000 that night just on having fun, you know.
Yeah. Look, in comparison to where you were to where you are now, we only just got a testimonial, or you posted in the group, 2 or 3 days ago. It's 2021. We're 10 days into the month and you'd already made $3,200. What's that like compared to when you were struggling?
Simple as that. You know, it's, first of all, when I was struggling, I had to fight hard to find clients.
Right.
You know, that's the first thing. You know, I had to constantly try to tweak my ads, and, you know, I never understood it. You know, the whole thing with, you know, finding your, finding the ads that would actually work for your target group, yada, yada. I stink at it.
It gets messy very, very quickly.
Yes. And it gets expensive. You have to test all these things, and
it's a risk. It's a massive risk.
Yeah, and I needed the ads because I had no money, you know. So that was terrible. Where today, like I said, I'm lazy, you know. All the clients that I've gotten for months have all come to me. You know, every single one of them. That's not true. There's been like 1 or 2 where I'm on Facebook in a hypnotic group and someone says, is there a hypnotherapist who can help me with this and this? I'll write to them. You know,
You're the only one.
Yeah, but also, you know, other things. I had one the other day. It's like, can you help me overeating? It's like, sure, you know, I'm not going to turn down a customer. So I'll, you know, if it's a low hanging fruit, I'll just chase that one. Say, if you want, I can give you a call and we'll have a nice talk. I do the exact same sales pitch, just leave out, you know, we'll just talk about another topic. And she's very, very happy with
just talking about results.
Yes. And, you know, but other than that, you know, I get an email, I get a phone call, I get a message on Facebook. Can you help me? And I will tell them, yes, can I call you? Sure, you get the number. I call them, I have a client pretty much every time. You know, when I talk with confidence. I make them see that I know what I'm talking about. I know results. I tell them a few little anecdotes, and they see the point of what I'm suggesting for them. You know,
what was at stake here if this didn't work?
I'm sorry?
What was at stake here if the business didn't start working?
Everything. Literally everything. This is the only income I've had for a couple of years.
Wow.
Nothing else. I quit my job because I could tell that this is a calling. This is what I want to do. Unfortunately, the laziness is that when I then realized that I could barely get on, that was kind of good enough for a while, because I was making it and I was happy and I was having fun, and and then still not, because it's no fun to be broke. And I see that today, my life has changed a little bit. I'm single now, which means there's, I was going to say less expenses, because it's expensive to have a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But, I have literally been able to get back on my feet, get my finances pretty much in order.
Wonderful.
Eat better. I moved to a small town from Copenhagen, the capital here. And I'm really loving the little town here. I'm in my own little bubble now that it's all COVID. So, I'm just here enjoying life, taking some walks. I have a supermarket right across the street. And, I have my expenses paid and life is good. I sleep much better at night.
Yeah.
Because there's no worries. And, now I'm at the point where I don't have to worry about the next client, because there's a little buffer in the bank that will save my ass, So I'm really liking my new life on this. And, I can't help thinking that if I can make it to this point by not doing anything, what's going to happen when I actually start, fully immersing myself in your course?
Well,
what's going to happen? I should be able to quadruple this.
You have done the biggest thing, which is week one, whether you watch the content or not from the course, whether you've just listened to me ramble on my Facebook Lives, you've covered the most important part, but it is the hardest part of the course, which is the niche. So yeah, when you hit the systems, the social media, the YouTube, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, when you hit all that, it's going to be no surprise to me when you message me and say, Scott, I'm doing $3,000 a day. It'd be no surprise to me, because you're doing it. But although you consider yourself lazy, you're not doing the marketing. When you nail the, excuse my language here, when you nail the fucking niche, you don't have to do anything else, because your product speaks volumes. People tell other people. But if you're finding you have to market, just grind out marketing, it means you really haven't nailed the niche or got a good enough product yet.
You're right.
You've done the hard part. You just got it the easier way.
I needed to hear that.
Yeah. We just have to take what you've done and systemize it. So, Kel, this can work for you while you sleep. So you're already getting emails and messages, but to the point where we get it to where you're getting so many emails and messages, you can start turning people away, or triple your price and have the high paying clients first in sort of like an order.
That's my goal. My goal the whole time has been, fill up the calendar. And when I can see that I'm getting ahead of myself in booking clients, that's the time to raise the price, to hopefully get a little bit back.
You get control, because now you can control what happens next.
Yes. And it's, it's so wonderful to now have my strategy calls with people and not have to worry about whether I make the sale or not.
It's different dynamic, isn't it?
Completely, and also knowing that when we've all been there, when you think, oh shit, I really need the money, but God, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
I really don't want to work with you, buddy, but I need to pay rent.
Yeah. That's not a business.
I love that now I don't have to worry. I haven't turned anyone away, because I'm pretty good at, the ones that come for me. I think it helps a lot that it seems like they don't come to hire a hypnotherapist. They come to hire me.
They never did hire a hypnotherapist. And that's what people got to understand. No one hires a therapist. They hire an expert. How you do it is irrelevant.
Yes. And it's very specific. They want me, nobody else.
Yep.
This is my market.
Because you've proven that you know what you're doing.
Yes. And, they know that, I make them roll on the floor laughing when we do shows. It's a blast. I blow their minds at the clubs, stuff like that. But they also know that when they pull me aside, say, can we have a talk about something? Then they find a guy who is dead serious about his business and who will tell them, I can help you with this. Let me explain what we do. And, my little trick is also, never give them your number, get theirs. I'll call you Monday. If you just give them your card, they're not probably going to call.
It's like putting flyers in a mailbox, so just throw it away.
Yeah, just tell them, this is really interesting. I would love to help you. How about I call you Monday? Can I have your number, please? And that works. I do little demos. That's another thing that I've gotten quite some success with. Since I've worked with chronic pain, this has given me actually a lot of clients. When I do a show, at the show, of course, I tell people what I work with. I will tell them I used to work with chronic pain a lot. Now I'm working with sexual dysfunction. However, if anyone here in the audience suffers from chronic pain, come see me after the show. We will do a group hypnosis. It's free of charge. It takes 15 minutes. I will eliminate your physical chronic pain.
Wonderful.
And I will easily gather 10 people. And they will go out in the club all night talking about how wonderful they feel, how amazing I am, how I remove their pain. And one show, I think the biggest I've had yet has been one show that has turned into, I think, about 20 clients.
Wow.
That is a shitload,
What a difference.
No problem doing the shows for pretty much free. I don't really charge much for those, but because I know the clients will come.
Yeah, the back end's better. Yeah.
Yes, way better.
Yeah.
And the whole, doing a group session on this, it's all mass hypnosis anyways. So everyone has results. And it's just simple techniques. Every hypnotherapist would know pretty much what to do, I think. So
where do you see the business by the end of the year? I mean, we're 12 days into the first month. Where do you see it by the end of the year?
Well, like I put in that post the other day, if I keep this up from the first 10 days, then I will reach the 100,000 Australian dollars by the end of the year.
Easy.
If I actually kick into gear, I would expect that I would make 200 or 300.
I guarantee if we systemize what you're doing based on what you've done now, 200 to 300, no problems, because the maths and the metrics are already showing that.
Yes. So, I want to be, I want to fill my calendar to the point where I'm comfortable. Again, I don't want to overwork. I like my life nice and quiet. I don't want to see 5 clients a day. No way. I know that when I sell the results, usually it's 2 sessions, maybe sometimes 3. A few need a little more, but usually it's 2 sessions. So, I can comfortably fit in at least 1 new client per day and leave it at that and be comfortable. That would then average 2 sessions per day, right? And I would be comfortable with that. Now, if you take that and you say 1,200 per person times 5, let's say times 20 for a month, that's what? That's 20.
Yeah, about 25, 27 grand a month.
Yes. That's not a bad
$240,000 plus business per year. It's not bad. That's freaking life-changing.
And, my expenses is that I think $18 for Zoom. That's pretty much it.
No ads, no funnels, no Google ads, no Facebook ads, all that expenditure gone because you found the niche.
Yes. And it's, I'm not going to run out of people having issues in bed. No. If anything, it's only getting worse because we are so keen on, being masters of anything because we see Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that crap. And, the pressure we put on ourselves is massive. We all have to look perfect, be perfect lovers. We have to be the perfect gentleman and the wild beast in bed at the same time, blah, 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 blah. It's only going to get worse. And, I've been thinking so many times, should I change all this and do it in English? Just because I would have a bigger market. But at the same time, I'm thinking,
why would you touch it? No. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's proven to work.
Yeah. And if I'm going to be having, one new client a day, 5 days a week, then I just need 200 clients in a year. That's all.
It's nothing. You don't have to. I would like to tell everybody, if you've found a pipe that's feeding you food, don't screw with the pipe. Let the pipe keep feeding you. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Don't adjust it. Keep doing what's working.
Yeah. And it's just, I really don't, I would be happy if I could triple the attention I get, and in the big picture, that's really not a lot. It's not. I've had 3 sales in the first 10 days. I have to say statistics are down because I haven't had any yesterday and today, but I did have a strategy meeting both yesterday and today. And I think some of it might.
Yeah, but it's the start of the year as well. The fact you've made more in the first 10 days in this year that I know therapists and coaches made in 6 months last year. So you've now got time on your side. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't complain about it. I'm very happy with that result. But at the same time, I always think, well, if I can do 3, I can do 5. It's just a matter of why haven't the 2 last ones, they're out there. Why haven't they written me yet? Why haven't they contacted me?
I'll come back.
Because they're out there, but they will get here.
Yeah, they become the bonus later. So while you're on another strategy call tomorrow, closing that one, then you get another message saying, hey, I spoke to you 2 days ago. I'm ready to go.
Exactly.
Because you're setting up that system.
Yeah.
So for people watching this, I guess this will be the last important question for you. Knowing that where you were to where you are now, you've really come out the other side looking forward to a $100, $200, even $300,000 business based on what you're doing now. What advice do you give to people that are still stuck where you were and just can't see a way out?
Be yourself and have fun. Really, again, I don't feel like I'm an expert on do this to get success. I've been lucky to step on the right stones on the path to get to where I am. But essentially, the reason I am where I am is because I decided to have fun with this.
I love that.
I decided to be curious and explore. It's the thing that sells my niche is me as a person. People like me. People think what I'm doing, they like it because it's ballsy. They like it because, I was gonna say it sounds wrong, but the perverts will recognize a fellow pervert, and they will be comfortable talking to me because I am in their world. I understand what they're going through. I have people that come to me, they're really, really ashamed, they're bashful, and they will be coming and they will say, you know what, I have this fetish. And, unless it's something that is really unsafe or illegal, I will always motivate them to say, instead of shutting this down, how about we make you comfortable in it?
Yeah, embrace it. Yeah.
And, they are so terrified about, what is he going to think when I tell him, and my response is always, cool. Tell me what you get out of it. I want to understand you. And you can just tell they just relax. It's like, oh, he is one of us.
He gets it.
I want to talk to him, and then they open and it just comes, and all this comes from me being the genuine me.
Love it.
Me being, having fun with this, being curious, what happens if I do this? I've done so many things. A lot of my first time tests on inductions or that has been live in front of an audience. Just like, I wonder if I can do that. Yeah, sure. I'll do it. Who cares? If it fails, it fails. Don't care. We'll laugh about it later. And just have fun, be curious, explore the whole, what if, and I think that's what creates the good ones.
Yeah.
Like you said, don't sell the product, sell yourself.
Yeah. You're
so
just
much of
just results. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so happy that people see that they don't need to hire a therapist. They don't need to do this and that. They need to hire me specifically.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, So my best advice is be yourself.
Love it.
Find a place where you are passionate, something you're willing to fight for, and go with that. If it doesn't feel right in your stomach, you're at the wrong spot, because you're gonna get bored and it's gonna get tedious, and then you gotta reboot again.
Yeah, I think that's awesome advice, and definitely wise, guys, for people that are watching this. You have to find a niche that works. No marketing, no funnel, no sales pitch, no learning how to be a storyteller. None of that stuff, as far as the marketing, will ever disguise a niche where there's not enough pain and not enough want by real people, as Kjeld has found out. So, man, thank you so much. That's such a cool journey. It's been one of my favorite interviews in a very taboo niche, but it shows you again, guys, anything's possible if you just get out of the tradition of, I must help people with mindset. I must help people with weight loss. No, you don't. And that's the example right there. So, Kjeld, thank you.
Anything can be a niche. Anything can be a niche. It's just choose that it is. If you're passionate about it, it can be your niche.
I agree. Well, Kjeld, man, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait. I think we'll give it about 6 months. When you hit that $200,000 mark, we'll come back for another interview. I want to see what's changed. But I'm going to see you in the Facebook group. Thank you so much, Kjeld, for joining us. Hopefully, guys, you're inspired by this. Now, Kjeld, if anybody's watching this that does want to speak to you privately, where is the best place they can find you? We'll also leave the links, guys, in the description to get in contact with Kjeld as well. But where's the best place for them to find you?
That would be Facebook. Just like you're advocating also, my private Facebook, it's always open for people. I am more than happy to help in any way I can, also just helping you find your niche or talking about these things. I love inspiring people. So just
excellent.
Contact me.
Well, we'll leave that link below, guys. Please go speak to Kjeld. He is, like, as much as we can't show it here, he is a wealth of knowledge in what he does. You can obviously hear that he's an expert in what he does because he's got those clients that are chasing him. So, look, thank you so much, Kjeld. I'm going to see you over in the Facebook group. My absolute pleasure to have this interview with you. And, buddy, get back to work. Let me know how those strategy calls go.
I will. Absolutely.
Right. Thanks, Kjeld. Cheers. Thank you.